in December 2013, over 90 people gathered on Ashby's historic Bathgrounds at the launch of a campaign to stop 5 large villas being built on the site. The campaign was a success, and in August 2014 the planning application was withdrawn. The core members of the group then decided to form a permanent community organisation, the Friends of Ashby Bathgrounds, which will continue to try to protect the site from unsuitable development, but would also bring about improvements. After a successful application to the Heritage Lottery Fund, and with additional financial support from North West Leicestershire District Council, £65,000 was raised to fund an improved accessibility and community heritage project. This film records the main achievements of that project.
As the wheels turn beneath you, chasing future to your past, doubling your vision, falling tears on broken glass.
Well, it's Monday the 12th of October, and as you can see from the work going on behind me, it's the very start of this new heritage footpath that the Friends of the Bathgrounds are having built. And I'm here with Claire Birch from the committee of the Friends of the Bathgrounds, and she's here just to make sure that everything's going ahead as planned. This new path is going to open up the bathgrounds and enhance the area, make it more accessible, more interesting, and more usable for a wide range of the local community. So it's the start of something very exciting, is it not?
It is, Wendy. Thank you very much for that. You said everything I wanted to say.
Well, thank you very much for letting us come down and see it.
Yes, thank you.
We'll show you later on how things have progressed.
I don't know what I want, but I know the way I feel.
Carry on!
What are we waiting for? Who's gonna stop the war? Who's going to give the sign? When it's the right time.
Start, so if the guys in the first pen 145 could start to walk and follow the 2 marshals.
That's our usual tactic.
Alongside the Heritage Project is the project to revitalise the footpath between Prior Park Road and the railway arch. This aims to restore the area to something like it would have been in the Edwardian and Victorian times, and make the path safer, more attractive, and more of an integral part of the bathgrounds themselves. After the cutting down of rotting trees and self-seeded saplings, the Friends of Ashby Bathgrounds got to work themselves.
Have you been CRB approved?
I have, yeah.
There is also the ongoing Pride in the Bathgrounds project, which seeks to reduce such things as litter, dog waste and antisocial behaviour. We're here today in the studio of mosaic artist Linda Bohr, who is creating the Ivanhoe Spa Mosaic, which will be installed on the Bathgrounds in Ashby. Also in the studio is local artist Di Lorriman, who created the original design for the mosaic.
Well, Di, it's the first time you've seen this from your original design, and now it's turning into a mosaic. What do you think of it?
I just think it blows you away. Oh. It's absolutely lovely. I love the way you've interpreted the design, and you've captured that perspective and colouring on the building. And that's the bit you're working on now?
It is, yes, yeah. And I'm very relieved that you like how it's going so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite interesting how to do it in perspective, because I've never actually had to work in perspective before.
Yeah.
But you know, it's good to have a challenge, isn't it? And at the end, it'll certainly be worth the extra work that's had to go into it. Yeah. But I do think the angle that it's on really adds to it. So it's coming on.
And it's interesting that you've actually picked out the things that were in detail, you know, the activities that were going on in the baths at the time, like the croquet and the tennis and the things on the bath grounds, and you've actually picked to do those first. Is there a reason for that?
I think at the beginning of a mosaic it's so exciting, and so it's really nice to do those detail things, and that's how I like to work. I love to work on the detail, so I'm delighted that the design has got so many detailed areas in it. And really, I think those are the bits that people are going to see the most. So for me, it's important that they are right and they stand out. And then the rest of it is pretty much background stuff, really. So I will do that later. And then when I can see the main items, I can work out what we need to do to the background to tie it all together.
Yeah. I know that these tesserae, they're called, aren't they?
Yes.
The ones you've used mostly seem to be square, which you've cut.
Yes.
But I see in the water they're a different shape. Is that something else that you've chopped up?
Yes, there we are. That was a sheet of stained glass, and because it's water, it needed to have some movement in it, and so really having everything in squares would be quite boring, really. Yeah. So I just used a different medium for that. And these are a different type of thing as well. So we've got different types of stained glass. The stuff that I've used up here is marble. I thought it'd be really nice to have proper stone, because obviously it would have been made from real stone rather than glass. And then for the accent colours that are going to go in, I'm actually going to use ceramic tiles, which will go in, mainly because I can't get the right shade of marble to look right. And you've managed to get so much depth into the design that I want to get the colours right. So I'm going to be using ceramic to get those additional colours that will give it the depth. Yeah. And you know, I have to say, it's so lovely having a design that's been done so well by you for me to work on, because normally I have to go through lots of work to try and get that right. Thank you. But it's great to have it already to start with, and anyway I can talk to you along the way, because it's quite lonely being a mosaic artist. It's great to be able to discuss it with you and have your ideas as well.
From my point of view, it's really interesting in the way that it's on this sort of nylon netting. I mean, how are you going to get that off there? And my drawing is behind on a piece of paper.
Yes.
And at the moment you can see through to do the mosaicing, if
Yes.
that's the right
Yes.
word. And then this down here is kind of like wobbly. So how are you going to get that off onto something?
Yes, I often wonder that. For this I've used an indirect method. Often when I work, I'll use the baseboard at the back, and I'll put the pieces of mosaic on directly, and that's where they'll stay. But to do this, I needed to see your design first, so I couldn't do that without transferring it to the board. So what I have is your design, then a piece of polythene, and then this mesh. And what I'm actually doing then is sticking the tesserae on with a very thin coat of the cement-based adhesive. So when I lift it up, it will actually come away from the polythene underneath it.
Right.
So when it's complete, what we'll do is it's going to go in a frame. So the frame's already been built, and then I'll put the backing board in that. Then I'll cover that with a layer of adhesive, and then very carefully lift this off on the mesh, and then place it down still on the mesh and tamp it down to make sure it's all level. And then it'll be ready for grouting once that's set.
Right. And what sort of colour of grouting? Will you use the same colour all over, or will you perhaps fill in certain things in the colours that they are?
Yeah, very good question. Yes, I will be using different colours of grout. I'm probably going to be using brown grout for a lot of the bottom part because of the amount of green that's in it, and it does look nice with the brown grout. But when it comes to the building itself, that poses a problem anyway, because the marble is very absorbent. So what I'm going to have to do is to treat the marble, because what would happen is as soon as I put grout over the top, it will absorb the colour from the grout. I was going to do this in brown, but I've since thought that what I'll do when I grout is I'll tape this area off, do the rest of it, and then I'll do this in cream, because if there is any absorption of colour, you won't really see it. And anyway, the cream grout will make it look like it would
show
be
the stone, won't
yes,
it?
it will show the stone up much better. And then the sky will probably be a different colour as well. I might do that in a grey. So once it's actually laid down ready for grouting, that can take quite a long time to actually do that.
The lighting, I probably set you a task with that as well. But I wanted the light to come from one direction and look a bit realistic, and you've really reflected that well with the perspective as well, and also on here as well. Presumably that's going to be a bit darker there.
That'll be filled in just as your picture up there, which I refer to all the time. Great place to have it because I can just glance up, and that really helps with the shading and the accents, really. And
when we were we had the meeting at my house to show the Bathgrounds the design and see what they thought of it, Lorna was there, if you remember. And I think it's a lovely idea to put something to represent Lorna into this mosaic, and I wondered if you'd come up with any ideas on that.
Yes, we're ready to do that, really. I've met with some of the friends of the project and discussed what might be useful, and apparently she used to say to people, "Oh, you are a star," and so it seemed really fitting to put a star in here for her.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm looking at doing a shooting star for her, which will go in this space here, which is just sitting there with nothing in. So as you can see, the other three corners have something in, so that's a perfect place, really. I'll just lean over here. I have got, it'll be something like this, so a little star that goes in there.
Oh, lovely.
I thought in silvers and golds, and then I've got some lettering, so we'll put her name in there as well. So it won't stand out, but I think it will fit in really nicely. And because it's got her name, it's obvious it's a dedication to someone as well.
And very appropriate.
Yes,
too.
yes, indeed. I only met her once, but she was very lovely, made quite an impression. So that would be nice to do that, and it fits in nicely because I love doing mosaics that tell stories, not just that are just a picture. So it's great having all the little bits in that tells the story of what happened at the spa and how people used it and enjoyed it.
That's looking terrific. Anyway, I'm absolutely thrilled to bits. I think
great. That is such a relief.
But thank you for letting me come and have a look at it.
No, I'm over the moon that you were part
really
of
nice,
it. It's great. It's great to work with someone else on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
A set of new interpretation boards were installed to enable visitors and local people to understand more of the history of the site. These formed part of a heritage trail which followed a series of waymarkers around the Bathgrounds. At the same time, a new memorial bench was also installed. Volunteers at Ashby Museum gave valuable help in the creation of these boards and also ran a series of guided walks and talks. The museum also created an education pack which can be borrowed by local schools to help them to study the rich history of the site.
Oh yay! Oh yay! Oh yay! My lords, ladies and gentlemen, and those you brought with you. In a few moments we are about to begin the unveiling of the Ivanhoe Bathgrounds Commemorative Mosaic. I crave your attention. This will be followed by an enthusiastic rendition of the Ballad of the Bathgrounds, followed by a treat from the Jerusalem Jammers, who will perform traditional maypole dancing, wizard wheezers and other such jolly japes. God save the Queen!
Good afternoon everybody, and thank you Claire. One of the main reasons I stood for election to the Town Council was to try to help preserve and improve those things about Ashby that people love. And nothing is more loved in our town than the Bathgrounds. So isn't it wonderful to see the new footpath and the heritage boards, and in a very few moments we'll all be able to see the super new mosaic. As leaseholders of the Bathgrounds, the Town Council welcomes the Friends' input to it and looks forward to a continuation of the successful partnership that has implemented so much good. I'm told the mosaic depicts the Ivanhoe baths that stood just behind us on the car park from 1822 until 1960. The baths and the pleasure grounds made Ashby a spa destination that the well-heeled flocked to, and it really was the making of the town. And it's just great to see so many people enjoying the reinvigorated Bathgrounds again today. Unfortunately, 2016 hasn't been all good news for the Bathgrounds though. I refer of course to the tragic loss of Kathy and I's dear friend Lorna, who put so much energy into so many things around our town. She loved the Bathgrounds with a passion. She'd be so proud to see what's been achieved. The mosaic has been designed by local artist Guy Lorriman and constructed by Linda Ball, and I'm told it actually includes a small tribute to lovely Lorna, which is very, very fitting. So without further ado, we're going to whip this off and declare the mosaic open.
We're afraid the Bathgrounds are a heritage
her travel plans were risky. She refused to take the Ivanhoe line train. Oh dear, she parachuted bravely down, bravely down. Hit her target on Bathgrounds, Bathgrounds. Oh, what she snagged her knickers on Bumper, and gorgeous lady to admire. There is a special place in town, Ashby town, where people love to wander round the historic spots. Long gone, we're afraid. The Bathgrounds are a heritage, heritage. There was cricket, there was croquet, tennis championships and race days, and the London arches met on the Bathgrounds, Bathgrounds. Inside the dancing was divine, was divine. Champagne was drunk and fine wines, fine wines, and fireworks exploded in the sky. But things were changing by and by. There is a special place in town, Ashby town, where people love to wander round the historic spots. Long gone, we're afraid. The Bathgrounds are a heritage, heritage. The spotlights were amazing, but design and captivating, that they started to fall into disrepair, disrepair. Goodbye to ballroom and the dame, to the dame. Schoolboys made their place their home, but sadly they did not long remain, driven up by smelly drains. There is a special place in town, Ashby town, where people love to wander round the historic spots. Long gone, we're afraid. The Bathgrounds are a heritage, heritage. Sadly now the spa is long gone, but rejoice, the Bathgrounds live on, and remember that they're meant to be enjoyed, enjoyed. Cricket balls and picnicking, picnicking, playing ball and dog walking, and now we have a beautiful new path. We say, what more could we ask? There is a special place in town, Ashby town, where people love to wander round the historic spots. Long gone, we're afraid. The Bathgrounds are a heritage, heritage. Historic spots. Long gone, we're afraid. The Bathgrounds are a heritage, heritage.
Well, we've been doing a mixture of this, which is the GPS. I don't know if you can see it from there.
Yeah.
The GPS, which we use to measure the ground surface, walking up and down, recording all the features, because in this part of the field there's lots of humps and bumps. which we think are part of the old ponds that used to be here.
Yeah.
And then alongside that, we've set out a grid. You probably see in the background there's a grid of a square, and we're doing resistance survey, the geophysical survey, looking under the ground, seeing what features there are. And that's what's being done by the group over the side here. In the background, they're basically recording points in the ground within a grid, basically. The machine has got prongs. It's got 4 prongs on the bottom. There's actually 2 machines, one on one side and one on the other. The person stands in the middle, and as they walk along, they're taking readings. It's putting an electrical current into the floor, and it's measuring the speed that current moves. So it's measuring the resistance to that current. And if we've got buried archaeology, buried foundations, it will have a high resistance because it can't get through the material. And if there's a buried ditch with water held in it, or silt within it with more moisture, you'll get a lower resistance because the speed of the current is quicker. So we can map that under the ground, and it gives us an idea of what there is here, down to about 75 centimetres into the ground. But what we're going to do today is we're going to move over the other side, across the side screen to that part of the field over there. So this is going to record the surface of the ground, and in groups you can carry this about. There's a data block here. You can carry this about like this, walk up and down, and it'll record your points as you go along. And we're going to get a surface model of the area over there, which is quite flat, but we need the data as well to tie in with the geophysics of the area. So that's one of the jobs. That's going to be happening. People all get to have a go with that. Exciting as it is. The other thing we're going to do is geophysics. And this is the machine we're using. I'll tell you now while we're all here rather than out in the field. This is what we're using, and everyone's going to have to carry this around, right? All different sizes, etc. We did this. Came to the presentation, I'll repeat myself a bit. What it's doing is it measures the Earth's magnetic field, and it looks for differences in the soil, basically. So it can see, by looking for different magnetic properties, all those scientific in the ground, we can look for ditches and we can look for other features. We can look for metal pipes as well.
All we have to do is make sure that all these tapes look straight. No, that has to be 28, 28, which is there, and that's 20. So what you need to do is move to each other like that, and then you lower the tapes onto the ground carefully, and then you do a final, basically pulling the tapes taut to make sure everything's straight.
Turn around and stop from one to there. Turn around and come up to the left. So we'll set up still the same way. We're too daft to go any other way. We're going to do try not to photograph that. That was
I was going to say that's not the one to photograph.
I wouldn't want to be associated with the BM.
Yay! Oh.
Wiggle it a bit.
Wiggle.
The results of all these surveys will be shown in a separate film to be made later in the year.
And I'm the current chair of the Friends of Ashby Bathgrounds, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming along today for the Friends of Ashby Bathgrounds Footpath and Bathgrounds Heritage Trail official opening ceremony. Today our Mayor, Mike Ball, will be unveiling the new community mosaic. The District Councillor, Deputy Chair Verge Vercici will be opening the footpath, and our HLF, our Heritage Lottery representative, Jeff Nichols, will be opening up the Bathgrounds new Heritage Trail.
Thank you, Claire. Before unveiling the mosaic, I just wanted to say a couple of things. As leaseholders of the Bathgrounds, Ashby Town Council is delighted to see ever-increasing numbers of people using the grounds. That's in part due to successful events such as today's, organised by the Town Council, but also very much in part down to the successful partnership between the Town Council and the Friends of the Bathgrounds. We've got a footpath here, which will be opened in just a moment, which is already very well used by residents. We've got a heritage trail that's going to draw in more visitors and tourists to the town. And we've opened up the gateway here to the Cattle Arch. And again, you're going to bring more people onto the Bathgrounds, you know, as a result. And these are all projects that have been done in partnership between the Town Council and the Friends of the Bathgrounds. And they've all enhanced this wonderful community asset we have in the heart of the town. Well, on to the mosaics. The second mosaic I've had the privilege to unveil. But this one's a little bit special because I believe there's been a lot of community involvement in the construction of this. So that's wonderful. And I'm told it depicts a couple of large fish ponds that used to be in this area here, and they used to be used to feed the inhabitants of the castle over there. And I'm sure that this, I used to train a boys football team, and we used to use this area to train on. And in winter it was boggy, and I didn't realise that I was in fact actually trying to train the kids on what used to be fish ponds, but it all now becomes sort of clear. Anyway, without further avail, I'm just going to whip this off and we can all have a good look. Which way do we go? Right, there we go.
Paul, I think.
Oh, Paul. There we go. Wonderful. So I'd now like to ask Verge, who's the District Council's Vice Chairman this year, Verge Rakiki, to open the footpath.
Good afternoon everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me as part of your celebrations today. My name is Councillor Verge Rakiki and I'm the Deputy Chairman of North West Leicestershire District Council. Having just walked along this fantastic new path here at the Ashby Bathgrounds, it's clear that a lot of very hard work has gone into this project. Understand there's been a small team of really enthusiastic people, passionate committee members who have been the driving force behind this work, and it is absolutely wonderful. I've enjoyed every minute of walking around it. I'd probably like to run it as well if I could. So my heartiest congratulations to everyone else who's involved in this project. Ashby is quite an historical place to be, and I mean I'm very proud to be part of living in the Ashby area, because if you are interested in history, it's a wonderful place to live. The District Council has been very pleased to support you through this £20,000 for 7 grant programme. Friends of the Ashby Bathgrounds were successful in securing this £20,000 following a public vote for this project. So obviously the people are very much in favour of it, which is nice to have them behind you. It's clear that you've used this £20,000 award extremely wisely, because this hopefully will last forever. Now, if I may, I'll just cut the ribbon and declare this footpath open, assuming these scissors work. Thank you.
When we're looking at projects from the Heritage Lottery Fund, we're looking for 3 things really, and it's what does this do for heritage and understanding heritage and preserving it, and in fact we've got some new heritage here, which is a kind of a wonderful kind of view into the future. So what does this do for heritage, what does it do for individuals, and what does it do for the community? And I think here we've got a perfect exemplar of a project which kind of delivers all 3, you know, because this obviously the path that's been created is going to be something that's going to be useful for people all year round. Is going to create more access to the area, and with the interpretation and everything else, that's going to be improving understanding. So I think from HLS point of view, money very well spent. It's something that's going to be here for, as we say, for forever, for many years to come. And I commend your efforts and congratulations on that.